In Tune with T-Mill is powered by and recorded live at the Maitland Conservatory. The Maitland Conservatory is a community-based contemporary arts education entity designed to give students hands-on training and experience in areas such as music production, contemporary instrumental training, vocal coaching, leadership, and much more. Call or visit them today and tell them that T-Mill sent you. themaitlandconservatory.org. This episode of In Tune with T-Mill is produced by Sunshine Enterprises. For more episodes and behind the scenes, subscribe, share, and comment on iTunes, YouTube, Spreaker, SoundCloud, anywhere you listen to your podcasts. In Tune with T-Mill. Let's start the show.
Hi, my name is Portia Hines. I'm a mental health counselor. I'm here at the Maitland Conservatory, and I'm in tune with T-Mill.
Hello, my name is Carlquista Slay, and I'm a licensed professional counselor, and I'm here at the Maitland Conservatory, and I'm in tune with T-Mill.
T-Mill, come out and play.
Play it loud.
We're changing the status quo one voice at a time, through music, edutainment, children, and awareness. We're progressing and preserving the culture through real conversations with people who've had real success. Multicultural artists and musicians, models, entrepreneurs, innovators, and activists. This is Paradox East, and you are in tune with T-Mill. Powered by the MaitlandConservatory.org.
Thank you for listening to In Tune with T-Mill.
Welcome to another special edition of In Tune with T-Mill. I'm your host, T-Mill, live from the Rocket City. You will now be encouraged and entertained. Nothing will change until you change something. We are here to change the status quo. Once again, right here live from the Rocket City of Huntsville, Alabama, the 256 as we like to call it. All right? It is almost the end of 2017. I don't know if you stuck with your New Year's resolutions or if you're still on track with that, but you still got some time. You still got a little couple months left over. We're still in the middle of Leo season. Yes, the best season of the year. So you still have time to switch sides and trade in your astrological sign and become a Leo. We're still taking applications and draft picks for you guys. But this is another special edition of In Tune with T-Mill, and this episode we're going to be talking about mental health. We're going to be talking about some of us want to get in shape. We want to get our body right. We want to get beach ready. We want to get fit. We want to do all that, and that's good, but we don't get our mind right. Like, we got to get our mind right, and I don't mean like making sure that your haircut looks good or you went to church. Church is great. But you got to do something for your soul sometimes. You got to make sure that you're good. And a lot of the conversations we don't have them with the right people. A lot of us, we go to Facebook. We tell Facebook our problems. We tell Facebook what we want out of life. We talk to Facebook like Facebook Jesus sometimes. And that ain't always the right thing to do. That's not always the safe thing to do. I mean, it's cool, but there's some licensed professionals that are out here. So, as I always say, don't tell it to Facebook, tell it to Jesus, or tell it to somebody that's professional and that can help you. And on another note, there's also those of us, and I'm just going to keep it all the way funky with y'all, in the black community. We don't take mental health as serious as we do our social media or some of the other things in our life. And so we go through these things and we have these problems or these issues or these questions or even just life in general. Your life could be great, going 100, going good, but you need a coach along your life. Grandma's cool, mama and May and all them, they cool and they good, but even you need an outside perspective sometimes than just grandma. You need somebody that's got a complete clean slate to give you some perspective on things. And we're going to talk about mental health, and we're going to be talking about therapy because it's not always a bad thing. Matter of fact, it's not a bad thing because, again, we go to get our car washed. Some of y'all get y'all car washed every week, but you don't do nothing for your brain. You don't do nothing for your soul. And I'm talking about us. I say us, not you, but us, because I know I do it every other week. You know, you can't tell right now because it's a little dirty. But we take care of a lot of these things, and we don't take care of our mental health. Every time something goes wrong, if we got good insurance, we'll go to the doctor as soon as we get a cold, we get the sniffling, whatever. We got some good insurance, we're going to go because, again, that's a luxury in a sense. But we don't necessarily take that mental health as serious as we should, all right? So I want to talk about mental health. And, again, I tell y'all all the time, I can't do this alone. I'm not a professional. I had to call in some professionals to do this. So I brought in some ladies that are going to, again, share with us some solutions and what we can do. And I want you guys right now to take down a pen, get a paper, whatever you need to do to relax and take some notes so you can take this to heart. And I hope somebody, at least one person out of this, takes this. And I'm really talking to the fellas because, again, women, ladies, y'all all smarter than us. Let's just be honest. Y'all smarter than us. Y'all know when something's not right. Y'all are more proactive than us being reactive. Y'all are proactive. So y'all gonna go get your mental health good when you start to think something's just not right. But men, we hard-headed. So I'm really talking to the men that I really want y'all to, again, share this with someone and take it to heart. So ladies and gentlemen, in tune with T-Mill, today I have Miss Portia. How you doing?
Great. How are you?
All right. And I have Miss Carlquista. How you doing?
I'm doing well, and you?
I'm doing great. Blessed and highly favored. Glad to have you guys in the building today to talk. And I'm glad you guys are here at the same time because I was going to do it separate. But then I was like, all right, what if we do like Voltron and just combine forces and just talk about mental health all together? You know what I mean? So welcome to the show, you guys.
Thank you for having us.
All right. And I want to make sure you guys can hear yourself. So at any time, if you can't hear yourself or anything like that, just let us know. We got your mics right here. So, all right. First, mental health. I'm going to get down, before I get down to the real nitty-gritty questions, I'm just going to ask flat out, why do we think, or what seems to be in you guys' experience, and you guys can answer however, but in you guys' experience, what seems to be the hang-up or the hold-up with black people taking care of their mental health? What seems to be some of the reasons why we don't take it seriously or we don't look for? What seems to be in your fields and in your experiences, what have been some of those reasons that you've come across?
Want to take this one?
Okay, I can. You said something earlier, Tim, about we go to the hospital and we go and take care of our medical health. And what we usually tend to do is separate mental health and physical health.
Right.
However, mental health, any kind of mental health concern would be just like a medical issue. If you had diabetes, you go to the doctor, you take your insulin to regulate your blood sugar. With mental health, let's just say, hypothetically, you're suffering from depression. Well, taking medication would be the same as, okay, we need to regulate the chemicals in the brain. So why is diabetes any different from depression, anxiety, bipolar, or anything else? But in our community, and it's not just the black community, it's the minorities in general, we tend to separate those things, and there's a lot of stigma associated with mental illness. And we know everything that goes on in our home stays in our home.
Right.
That's how a lot of us were raised. So
we hear that all the time. That was one of the things you hear, like, you don't tell nobody.
Don't tell your business. Yeah, and so a lot of people are really stuck with that mindset, so they're very apprehensive to go and talk to other people about their deepest, darkest secrets, fears, issues, insecurities, because in the back of our minds, we're supposed to keep that to ourselves. You don't get anybody in your business. You don't put your business out there in the street. So there is still a lot of stigma when it comes to that is one of the issues. And I also think that because we are so caught up on the word crazy.
Yeah.
And
kind of throwing it out there.
And you're familiar with your crazy uncle and crazy this and, oh, you're so crazy, you're so that. And it's usually used in a negative connotation when someone is acting abnormally. So we don't want to be that abnormal person.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
So we try very hard not to put that information out there. Mm-hmm. However, we're doing ourselves a disservice by staying in that mindset.
Mm. And what about you, Portia? What has been some of the reasons or that you found in your experience, that people give for not seeking mental health, or just the reason why they just stay away from it altogether?
Going to a professional or seeking someone outside of the church or outside of the home has been seen as a sign of weakness. We're always supposed to be so strong. We're always supposed to be able to handle everything. Mm-hmm. So to seek someone outside of your inner circle, that's been looked on as a sign of weakness. Mm-hmm. And to kind of piggyback on what you said, I think our profession, counseling and therapy, we haven't done a good enough job of assuring people of the confidentiality factor. Mm-hmm. What you talk about with your counselor or your therapist, unless you're going to hurt somebody else or hurt yourself, that stays between you and that professional. Mm-hmm. I think we have to make it more relatable. It has to be something that is not seen as the crazy uncle or the crazy aunt that you never talk to and that you keep shut up in a room only goes to. Mm-hmm. There can be reasons you go for counseling or therapy for growth as well as when there's an issue. So we've got to make it more relatable and take away some of that fear, because that stigma is alive and well in our community.
And one thing I think of because again, being a kid, I would always throw around that word crazy. You crazy, or you crazy, or she crazy, you driving me crazy, so on and so forth. But we don't understand the power that words have. And so it wasn't until like recently, and I heard somebody break it down in a way that I could understand, when we call people crazy, that's in a sense, we just don't understand them. But that word crazy has such a negative connotation on it, instead of just saying, I don't really understand what you're saying, or I don't understand what you're going through. They just dismiss it off, having that word as being dismissive. Mm-hmm. Just, oh, you're crazy. I don't understand you, so this is what you are. Mm-hmm. Or you're not making any sense to me. Instead of, again, not just admitting, I don't understand, help me understand. Mm-hmm. And so when somebody's doing something or they're acting a certain way, instead of us, sitting down with that person and taking that time to say, okay, let me really understand what's going on. Let me try to figure this out and not just run to the very first conclusion that we come up with. We just say, oh, he's crazy or she's crazy or whatever. So now, Portia, you work with children.
Currently, yes. On my 9 to 5, I work with children.
Right. In your experience, working with the kids, and is it at Jemison or?
Yes, it's at Jemison.
Gotcha. All right. In your experience, what would you say is the kids that are? Because I have a theory. Mm-hmm. There's kids that act out, and then there's kids that are just completely quiet. They keep it all to themselves. Mm-hmm. But the kids that act out, I think they're doing it for a reason. I always think that there's a reason. I could be wrong, but I think there's always a reason. Have you found that to be true?
In my opinion, yes, there's always a reason. The outward display is because they don't know how to deal with something emotional or something that they're feeling. Mm-hmm. They don't have words to put with it, or they've never been shown how to cope with those emotions, how to deal with them in a healthy manner.
Right.
So whatever is the most comfortable, or whatever is what has been seen the most in their lives, that's what comes out. So the children have behaviors that they've seen on television, they've seen in music. They go to what they know first. Mm-hmm. But it's always something underlying, in my opinion.
Absolutely. And what about you, Carlquista, with even working with, even adults or children? Do you, because again, people will just say, that's just a bad kid. Mm-hmm. That's just a bad person, or she's just crazy, or he's just this. Have you found it to be that there's just an underlying reason to, what lies underneath that?
Mm-hmm. And I work with young adults all the way through seasoned adults. Mm-hmm. And even still, there's always a reason for any particular behavior. I mean, think about it. we have our routines that we go through every morning.
Right.
There's a reason we do it a certain way.
Mm-hmm.
You brush your teeth before you put your shirt on.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe it's because you don't want to get toothpaste on your shirt.
If I did it any other way, I'd be all messed up.
You'd be
I'm telling
messed
you.
up, right? But that's
I can't
all
deviate from the plan.
Right, but if that's all you've known,
Right.
and someone comes along and shows you something a little different,
Mm-hmm.
meaning go ahead and put your clothes on and then stick a paper towel right there. Now you don't have to worry about the toothpaste getting on your clothes.
Mm-hmm.
And so there is always a reason behind any behaviors that we demonstrate or exhibit.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely, absolutely. Now, one of the reasons that people, or the reason that I've got when I ask people, how come they don't go to see a therapist, or they don't, go to counseling or whatever it is that it's they can't afford it. It's not in their medical insurance or their health insurance or whatever. Is that to be true? I mean, is it too expensive, or are there other solutions or other ways that they can go about it to get counseling or therapy or whatever?
There are other ways, and yes, counseling can be expensive if you don't have insurance. However, there are a lot of organizations within the community that provide those services either for free or on a sliding fee scale based on your income. And also churches your church is always an option if you are a member of a church. But yes, there are a lot of organizations that work with people that really can't afford it or don't have insurance.
Okay. What about you, Portia?
I think the insurance is a major factor for a lot of people. I used to work in insurance, and there would be policy after policy that would come up, and mental health would be an exclusion. But you would see these extravagant other procedures that were covered at no cost to the patient.
Yep.
So it definitely can be a cost. I think us knowing about the resources, us getting those out there, and us seeking our community, and the more we make it relatable, the more people will be aware of those resources. I know, like you said, a lot of the local churches are bringing counselors in to the church just to be accessible to the communities. So it's looking for that, looking for the opportunities where there are counselors giving away those services. Oftentimes in crisis or in disaster situations, counselors are brought in and made accessible to the communities for free, but it's just knowing what to look for or where to go to find that. So I'm really glad we're having this conversation today.
Well, and again, I think you guys both brought up a good point that they do exist. These things are out there if we look for them. Now, if we're trying to find out what's the popping spot on Friday night, if we're trying to find out where to go get the hottest deal on our hair or sneakers or whatever, we somehow magically use Google and we figure it out. Like, or we go on Instagram all day long and we flapping through it trying to figure it out. Like, or we asking people, who's got this or who's got that? So we need to treat that the same way that we treat everything else. We find a way to find all these different things or answer these questions, but when it comes to mental health, we just got to ask and try to find it out and go look for it. And I think that you guys brought up a good point that there are a lot of resources out here. We just got to either ask or dig a little deeper and look around, because there's a lot that exists at a lot of our places of employment, at our job. Now, it could be few and far in between, but I see a lot of more jobs than people. I don't think that it's more popular because people just don't use it or they don't know about it. But there's a lot of jobs that I've seen working with job fairs or trying to get kids jobs and things like that. There's a lot of them that offer it, it's just people don't know about it. And they have to where, again, you can call and talk to someone, or they have a hotline, or they have, and people will think, that's a snitch line. I'm going to call in and tell them my problems, and then I'm going to get fired the next day. No, they're trying to keep you healthy to, again, make you a more productive person at your job, and you don't go burning up the chicken wings, tomorrow because you're going through something, For relationships, I think, again, couple counseling is very important. I think that before people get married, I know they got premarital counseling or whatever it is, but then you got places where I don't know if in Alabama you can do it anymore because they just passed all these laws, but pretty much you can go to the courthouse, pay a fee, you get in, you get married, you get out, you're gone. It's like a Vegas night. You good. But how important is premarital counseling or just even relationship counseling, like just two people getting to know one another on another level, like through a third party? How important is that?
I think it's important to have someone who is not in the relationship with you, especially if the two of you are coming across topics that are challenging to you. Once you have someone who's not there to tell you what to do, but is there to give you some tools to guide you along the journey of your relationship, I think that can be helpful to a healthy relationship and help steer an unhealthy relationship back to the correct path. I say that everybody needs a therapist. I mean, everybody does.
I agree.
What about you, Carlquista? How important do you think it is for couples, or even just dating, to get out there and just go on a date night to a therapist or a counselor, or just, again, get to know one another on those type of levels?
I think it's very important. I was listening to a radio snippet with Creflo Dollar, and he was talking about when you're dating, the questions that you're supposed to ask, and basically kind of getting all up in the other person's business, making them very uncomfortable. So I think in pre-marriage counseling or couples counseling, it allows the opportunity to uncover some of those sensitive topics, some of those secrets that may later on damage the relationship, and then teaching you how to work through those trying times, teaching you how to communicate so that you can be a little bit more successful. So I think it is very important for anyone that is in a relationship, whether it's just dating or married.
Absolutely. And again, I think as far as relationships go, I think a lot of people are hesitant about doing it because they're afraid of unveiling something about themselves to someone else that they may think, oh, well, once this person find out that I can't go to sleep without a teddy bear, it's going to be over with. Like, they're afraid, but at the same time, you should want somebody to know. I'm not saying on the first night you let somebody know your deepest, darkest secrets, but maybe, once you figure out that this is going to be a little bit serious, you may want to know something about, or that might save you from, a marriage that you don't need to be in, or a relationship that you don't need to be in. You may see something in that person, or maybe the therapist or the counselor sees something like, yo, this might be a red light. You might want to either hold off on it, or you might want to run the other way, either way. Because, again, there's a lot of things that, again, we just put these stigmas on, or we just don't give ourselves that permission to have, to open up to one another and to have these things and whatnot. What is one of the things that you guys want people to know about one of the biggest benefits, or even a few of them? What do you think are some of the biggest benefits of doing therapy or counseling, and even just saying those words just kind of like, it just feels bad. It's like when they just have this bad stigma on them, so it almost feels like just a curse word even, or just bad altogether. But what are some of those benefits of having counseling or therapy, and what are some of those things that people can look forward to once they go through that?
What if we say coaching?
Coach, there you go. Coaching, absolutely. I like that word better.
I like to consider myself as a coach, an educator. Yeah. But counseling really is about education, learning who you are. And you don't necessarily have to be suffering from any mental health concerns at all. I mean, you may just want to set goals and be accountable to someone that can point you in the right direction and help you, push you along, encourage you to reach those goals. So everybody thinks about counseling and therapy as, oh, I must be crazy. And that's not what it's about. It's about skill building, learning who you are, and then also learning some of the people that you're around, because you may pick up on some things about the people that you are involved in that, those may be some unhealthy relationships. So really being able to identify some things for yourself and figure out, what is the game plan? What are you going to do to change your situation if you don't like your situation? And
I want you to answer that as well. And then, I'll remember the question, because I was like, you brought a really good point. Okay. I'm going to save it. But what are some of the benefits of receiving coaching? We're going to get rid of the word therapy, counseling, all that. That just sounds like you caught a charge. Like, we're going to get rid of that. What are some of the benefits of coaching, having a life coach or having a spiritual coach? What are some of the benefits of that?
It allows you to look at things from a perspective that you wouldn't otherwise have had. I tell a lot of my clients, I want you to look at it like you're at a fancy restaurant and I am the educated person who can tell you everything you need to know about the menu. I'll bring you lots of options. I'll bring you lots of tools. I can bring you some insight that you may or may not have had before. It's up to you to pick up those tools and put them into practice. So I can't tell you what to do. You're driving the car. I think that's the thing that I would want people to know the most as a counselor or a coach or a therapist. I'm not telling you what to do. I'm offering you some options that you may not have thought of before. And I think the most beneficial thing is you will get to invest into yourself during the counseling or coaching process. You will be able to see some things about yourself or some things that you just haven't approached or acknowledged beforehand and get to work on them in a safe place. Because we all have those things that we know could be better or those things that a goal that we've had but we're just not sure how to muster the motivation or we're just not sure what's the next step to take. So with someone there with you, encouraging you, offering you options, giving you a safe place to say, you know, I feel this way or I feel that way, and there's no judgment there. I think that's the thing. It's a judgment-free zone.
Absolutely. And so now also what I would like to know is so you got the benefits of it. You got the benefits, things that help and things that the reasons why you would want to do it. But also there's the people that think, all right, well, if I go to coaching or if I go to counseling, that's gonna make me reveal some things that I don't want people to know. But then I think there's also some things, again, you have to confront those things. But what would you guys say in your field or even just personally that you can share that are there things that you learn about yourself that you never would have learned about yourself had it not been for coaching? You know, is there such thing like that for you guys, or have you found that?
I have clients to identify with that all the time, and they say, "Oh, I've never thought about it like that." You gave me, you provided some really good insight in that area. And basically, counseling is just holding the mirror up in front of that person. An actual mirror. I'm not talking about the fair mirrors or the carnival mirrors. I'm talking about a real mirror.
Not the cosmetic mirror, like none of that.
None of that. Not the big fancy lights and all that other stuff. Just a mirror. So you're making them look at themselves in a different way by whether it's thought-provoking questions or exercises. But basically, they don't have to reveal anything that they don't want to reveal. We're not going to force them to reveal anything about themselves. We're not going to force them to reveal their deepest, darkest secrets. But what happens is the more they go, their comfort level builds.
Absolutely.
With the person that they're getting treatment from or care from. And they'll start to open up about things that they may not even have realized were, I guess, precipitating factors in what is going on in their life currently.
Right. What about you? Are there things that people will find out about themselves had it not been for coaching or therapy? Because they may think, oh, I don't need a coach or a therapist or anything like that. Do they find out everything on their own? Or is it some things that you're definitely going to find out about yourself?
I think it's more likely that you'll come to it if you go to coaching or to therapy. A lot of times people have self-diagnosed what their issue is. They say, oh, I'm not
You might be way off.
Right, exactly.
WebMD.
Exactly.
Oh, man. You get on WebMD, you're going to be dead by the time you get off of there. Like, it's going to be over with. I got everything under the sun. I need to go somewhere in the woods of Zimbabwe or something. Don't even get me started on WebMD, but go ahead. Stay off of WebMD. Stop diagnosing yourself.
Stay off WebMD.
Please. Jesus Christ.
But a lot of times they've been tackling issues that really aren't the cause of the problem.
Wow.
What you realize is, I feel more comfortable dealing with this issue A, instead of what the root cause of why I'm behaving this way is.
Yeah.
So that's a good one for coaching.
See, there you go. Absolutely. And also you guys listen to the people around you, because if you got 5 people telling you the same thing, it might be the truth. If people are telling you you're selfish or you don't listen or, whatever it is, or you do too much, whatever it is, that might be the truth, and you might need to go look into that and to say, okay, well, how do I fix this? You know, how do I make this right? Or if you want to, because again, you could wind up hurting the wrong person or yourself if you don't do it. Me, I'm bad at listening. Like, I'm terrible at listening. I listen, but at the same time, the whole time while I'm listening, oh man, she's got it like right here. The whole time while I'm listening, I'm thinking of my response as opposed to completely listening and then giving a response. And so I didn't know that until, again, going to counseling, going to therapy, and then hearing my wife tell me 10 times that this is the thing. You were thinking that when we were going back. So again, these are a lot of the things that I wanted to know about myself, and just being, again, either just responsible enough, not even man or woman enough, but just responsible enough to say, look, if I care about the people around me, then I want to make sure I'm the best version of myself, you know, and that I've got somebody that can look out for my best interests and to make me better. I kind of feel like coaches are like making you a little bit better, you know, so I kind of feel like it's my like super, you know, way to energize myself and to become a better version. So without counseling and therapy, I feel like I wouldn't be able to live out to my full potential. And I think that that's a good thing. One of the things that I think is really that we haven't uncovered or we hadn't talked about that I think is also I don't know the word that I'm trying to not even a symptom. Anyway, something that happens when you don't. I'm trying to figure out all these big words. Something that had happened when you don't take your mental therapy seriously, when it goes untreated, to where you either start to harm people around you or you start to harm yourself. And then you've got, again, people that, because again, just to keep it all the way funky in the black community, we didn't think of suicide as something that happens to us. Oh, no, that's got to be somebody else, or they ain't black. Because I know if they committed suicide, well now, and I know it's always happened, but it seems to be a little more, I guess, out in the open because we got social media. But there's a lot of, not even adults, a lot of children, you know, that are teenagers that are taking their life because of whatever reason, and they don't have that outlet, or nobody was listening to them, or whatever. So could you guys talk a little bit about kind of how to recognize those, or even how to prevent those? Because again, not to say that there's one like light that comes on where you're like, all right, that person's thinking about suicide, but some of the things that people can look out for in not only themselves but someone else to help prevent that and get them help.
A lot of times people who are having suicidal thoughts, they will verbalize or communicate that to someone. So I would say the number one tip is to always take someone seriously when they communicate to you thoughts of hurting themselves or of ending their life. If someone starts making like final preparations in their life, they're giving away their beloved items, they're more closed off than
I always think they won the lottery and they're just trying to like, but that's me, I'm sorry.
It could be that, or it could be.
It's like, where you going? Wait a minute.
You holding out.
Right,
you holding.
You just want to watch for the cues, though. I mean, if they're no longer invested in life, if they no longer show up to family functions that they're usually normally the first person there, if they talk about hopelessness, if things just aren't going to get any better. I think, you know, sometimes people will say, I'm just tired of it all. Go a little bit deeper, inquire, well, all of what are you tired of exactly? You tired of being here, or you tired of existing?
Right,
I think we have to stop being afraid of saying, hey, I'm here to listen to you, or asking when someone asks us a question that's a little bit frightening. We have to go that extra step, because you never know whose life you could actually be intervening in a positive way.
And Portia brought up a really good point about the people that verbalize it, or that have some of those signs, such as depression, or, you know, they're not going out to the club as much as they used to, or they're not themselves, and you know, you start to pick up those things. But Carlquista, what are some of those things to maybe look out for, or what do people do when that person's firing on all cylinders and they may just be acting, you know, as a day-to-day, you don't see anything, you don't see any signs, or they seem to be acting normal, and just at the drop of a hat, because there's been cases where people, they just didn't know. This person was acting normal. This person was doing everything that they normally did, and it just happened all of a sudden. What are some of the things that people can do when they don't see the signs?
You're right. There are a lot of people that are functioning with poor mental health. And one of the things that we kind of go about, because we're so self-absorbed, we're not really paying attention to the people around us, even the people within our own homes. And there could be some behavior changes if you really pay attention to the people around you. They're going to show something, whether it's they're sleeping a little bit longer or they're a little bit more testy than usual. And instead of writing them off as, oh, they're just tripping, or oh, they're crazy, or oh, they're sleeping all the time, they're just being lazy, there really could be something going on. So it is our responsibility to each other, really, to kind of just dig a little deeper and probe a little bit more, instead of just, that's their issue. It doesn't concern me. And you may very well be around people when you know they're going through stress. It's midterm time and they're trying to cram. Now, they may be doing perfectly well, but that is a stressful time, whether they're handling it well or not. Midterm is a stressful time. A loss is a stressful time. So if you know someone has just lost their home, well, there's something going on there. So those are times that we need to pay attention. We do have to get in other people's business sometimes. And I know people don't like to say that, mind your own business, stay in your own lane. But we have a responsibility really as a community to care for each other. And if we don't do it, nobody else is going to do it.
How important is it because we do this all the time. Somebody asks us how we doing. What do they say? How you doing?
I'm good.
I'm good.
I'm fine.
We always say that. I'm good. I'm fine. Everything's great. No matter where we are, we always respond with I'm good. How important is that to be honest? Because if you're not doing good, if everything's not okay, how important is it to just be honest and say, man, today ain't a good day. I don't know what Ice Cube was going through. Or, man, let me tell you, look, you got, how long you got? You want to sit down? Let me tell you. How important is it to sort of like push that facade to the side and say, you know what, everything ain't all right. How important is it to again, be honest with yourself or that person and sort of get away from doing that?
It's very important, and because people are really quick to say, I'm good, I'm fine. But again, because we're so self-absorbed, do we really want to know how they're doing? Or have we just been wired to ask? And so if we really want to know how they're doing, we kind of need to get up in the mix. Again, start investigating a little bit, get all up in their business. Tell me about your day. Okay, well, just based on what they say, you may be able to tell that person had a really good day or they had a really bad day, how they respond. So one word over a whole day is going to give you a better picture, but that's only if you really want to know. So we have to get out of ourselves. And don't ask if you don't really want to know. Y'all just trying to be in somebody's business. Portia, how important is that to, again, be honest with one another about that?
It's very, very honest. It's critical. I think that on the flip side of that coin, we all have to take up the responsibility of being a safe person for someone to communicate with.
Right.
If we state that we care about our loved ones, if we state that we care about our community, then we're going to have to take some responsibility on the flip side of that coin and not brush it off. Like you said, if someone says, I'm fine, fine is a really short way of describing an entire day. I know you've gone through something recently. If you need to talk, I'm here. Or schedule that time. Make it a point to be tangible to someone, to be personable to someone. And then I think as a community, we'll feel safer telling someone if we are struggling with something.
Because is anybody really like fine, at the end of the day? Like, are you ever really like, oh, I'm good today? You may be content, and a lot of times that's my go-to, I can't complain. Because if I really do feel like, all right, there's some things going on, that's kind of like all right, I'm not all the way good, but I can't complain. So that's my like go-to answer for it, because I can't just say, oh, I'm good, or yeah, I'm fine, if I'm really not that way. But if I don't want to let you all the way in, I'll just say, I can't complain. You know, it could be worse, or something like that, and I'll just say that and leave it at that.
I think we've also got to remove the idea that it's not okay to not be okay. If you're going through something, you need to feel those emotions. The longer you press them down and keep them to yourself, the more likely it is that it's going to come out in a way or in an area that
it's always going to come out. Yeah, definitely. It's always going to come out. And that's one of the, you know, with children, I think it's more important to get that out. Because again, they may not know, we may know how to, you know, filter that in a sense. All right, I'm feeling really angry, so I'm going to go for a walk and I'll feel good. Or I'm going to the gym, or I'm going to make a baby, whatever it is. You know, just I know what I got to do to release this stress. But children don't know how to, you know, filter that or put it into something. So they may get into a fight, or they may harm themselves, or they may get to screaming on somebody, or whatever it is. So I think it's more important to sort of, you know, drag that out of kids, or let them be angry. You know, hey, man, look, just let's go out here, just scream. Just get it all out. Get it off your chest. How important is that? Because I think kids need to do that sometimes. I do it in my backyard all the time. I get out there and just wait till everybody's asleep and just scream. And I'm like, all right, I feel good. I'm good. Or just ride around, listen to some music, and then I'm straight. Because music for me, music and the outside do that. I need to get out the house. I need to walk around and think. But for kids, they may be at school. And so you get at school at 8 o'clock, right? And now this is something where I want you guys to help me with, because I really think the schools need to implement this. So think about this for a minute. You got all this that may be going on at home, right? All right. Then you get to school, and you got rule after rule. You can't go here. You can't go there. You can't do this. You can't do that. You got to stop. You got to do this. And you haven't even begun to deal with what you just left home with. Now you got to deal with whatever's going on at school. And then guess what you're going to do when you leave school? You got to go right back home to where that problem is, or where that issue is. So I think maybe now, because I think my daughter was, I know at Jemison they got power hour or whatever, to kind of like relax a little bit and just kind of, you know, do whatever it is they want to do. We already know what they're going to do. They're going to be on Facebook, Snapchat, doing whatever. None of them's going to sit there and just, I really need to release this stress that I've got on my brain. Ooh, Lord, please. And nobody's going to pray or none of that. But how important is it for, remember counselors when we were going to school, and like you could go talk about your future, or talk, like there's no time for that, you know, in a school setting, to where you got kids that's got all these problems at home, and then they come to school and they got no time to deal with it, other than when they go to lunch and they talk to somebody about it, or when they're in PE, or then they're cutting class. How important is that for the kids to have like some time or some space to really be like, look, I'm just having a bad day, bro. I can't deal today. Like, I can't do it, you know, and talk to somebody about it, as opposed to get back in class. You can be all right, get back in class. How important is that?
I think it's very important. I also think that the tide is turning. As of last year, for Huntsville City Schools, I can speak to that. They have placed a mental health counselor in every high school.
That's what I'm talking about. Give it up to Huntsville City Schools. That's what I'm talking about. See, I was talking about it. Y'all already got it straightened out.
So the kids are able to say, hey, you know, I'm going through this, or I'm going through that, or I don't know how to deal with this, or I need some guidance on that, or hey, this is going on. I can't function because this is going on. But that's when we have the opportunity to teach those healthy coping skills. Because unfortunately, sometimes they're not being taught at home, because mom and dad are so stressed out trying to maintain life that they either aren't practicing those healthy coping skills themselves, or they were never taught them either.
Right.
The younger we start teaching them, the younger we get the kids into a mind frame of, okay, I'm taking care of my body. I need to take care of my emotions. I need to take care of my mental stability too. The more productive and whole adults will have in the long run.
There you go. What about you, Carlquista?
I was just having this conversation the other day, and my mom's probably going to kill me. But
She's going to say, you go, girl.
When we were younger, think about it. How many times did you get popped in the mouth?
All the time.
Because they wanted you to stop talking.
Yeah, absolutely.
They didn't want you to express your opinion. And I think, yes, they have to have an outlet to be able to express their opinion, but we also have to teach our children that it's okay to express yourself as long as you're doing it appropriately. Not acting out, not kicking and screaming, but actually communicating effectively what it is that's going on with you. But again, that goes back to kind of some of the stigmas and the way we were raised. You don't allow your child to talk back, and the parent has the last word. But the children really could be trying to express something to you. So yes, they do need an outlet, but they also need to know that it's okay to not be okay, to express yourself, to talk to an adult and be honest with an adult.
Wow, yeah. And to know that they can trust that adult. Because again, kids ain't stupid. Like kids, I'm telling you, if I've learned nothing else from my kids, it's that I've been an idiot for my whole life. Kids really know the people that they can go to and then the people that they can't. They may be a little bit confused on when or how or whatever, but they know, okay, I can talk to this person or I can't trust this person or whatever it is. And so I think a lot of times, like you said, they may, again, fear that I can't talk to this person because it's not okay to, it's not right for me to feel this way or whatever it is, but I don't want to get in trouble. But for them to also know, well, I can go to Miss Portia or Miss Carlquista and it's going to stay with them and they're going to look out for me. And then there's those times where it's like, all right, look, this one, I can protect you as much as I can, but I got to let somebody else know. You can't just tell me this and it just stay between me and you. Somebody's got to know, but what I will do is protect you throughout it the best that I can. But in order for me to protect you, this is what I got to do. I got to go talk to this person about it. Or I got to bring somebody else in that's just like me or whatever. You break it down, you make it all sound sweet. But you got to let them know that I got to bring somebody else in, because I think that also sort of, well, hold on, this is just between me and you. Nah, man, I got to tell somebody that your mama got you robbing banks. I got to let somebody know that this is going on. So, for the people that want, if you guys are watching live, and those of you that are watching live, if you have any questions, go ahead and send them in the chat room, and we will get those questions answered. For people that are looking for help, they're looking for a coach. They're looking for, again, they know they need something. They just may not know what it is. And then especially for anyone that's just feeling like they're too stressed out, or they've had any thoughts of taking their life or somebody else's life or whatever. What are some of the resources, that you guys can provide, or just point them in the right direction to take that next step to find them some help, or someone else to find some help?
If you're thinking about hurting yourself, 911 off the bat. Just don't play any games with it. Call 911. You're not
going to get arrested for it. I don't think there's a charge for, you're trying to commit suicide. Like, in all seriousness, I don't think there's a charge for that. They're not going to come arrest you for that. Like, no.
Right. We want you to get to someone who can help you immediately. If there's those lingering thoughts of hopelessness, I think a lot of people sometimes don't realize you can go to your primary care doctor. If there's a chemical imbalance, you generally already have a relationship with your primary care doctor. If it's something they can't deal with, they will give you a referral. But a lot of times you can say, hey, I've been feeling down for X amount of time. There's some things I just haven't been able to do that I usually love to do. And they can help you in that way if medication is needed.
I didn't think about that.
Everybody needs medicine, but that is one avenue of getting some help in those emotions and that lingering feeling of sadness. I offer private counseling as well.
Yep, absolutely.
I have a website. It's www.myjourneysolutions.com. You can click on the contact page. And also at the Link Church, every first and third Wednesdays, we offer free support groups. It's 2227 Drake Avenue, building number 9. So if that's grief, if that's depression, if that's substance abuse related, it's a place that you can come. You can talk about the things that you're going through, receive support from others, and be connected with some resources as well for that.
Okay, and of course I do private counseling as well. I also, for my A&M students, if you are a student in any college, they have counseling services on campus that are free to students.
Yeah.
A lot of students don't know about that, but if you are at Alabama A&M and you need that assistance, it does not matter what it is, please reach out to the Student Health and Counseling Center. And also providing services. I provide services for depression, anxiety, pretty much a wide range. However, if I cannot provide those services to you, I will be more than happy to refer you to a provider that is more suitable to work with your issues. But definitely reach out to someone. And if you're in the state of Alabama, and this is a really good resource just across the board, not just for mental health care, but medical assistance, anything you need, and money is kind of tight. 211 is easy to remember. It's kind of like 411, but 211 is, you can pick up that phone, call that number anywhere in Alabama and say, hey, I need a crisis counselor. And they're going to give you a list of all the counselors in your area that provide services for people with low income or free of service.
It's kind of like a Google on the phone. Like if you don't have the time to go Google it, just dial 211 and somebody's going to pick up and they're going to put you in the right direction.
Yeah. So put as much effort into searching out these resources as you did, looking for that illegal Mayweather-McGregor link last night.
Man.
So I know some of y'all put some effort in. So we're out there. There are resources available. You just have to do a little research. You have to do a little homework and get help. There is no dumb concern. There is no dumb question. There's nothing crazy. Just come. Even if you think it's not a big deal and you've been contemplating it, just come.
Absolutely. And also, if I'm not mistaken, I think 211 works in a lot of other areas. Like I think a lot of other states have that same thing, and it may be 211 for other areas or 411, so on and so forth, because that's something that they've kept like way back from the DARE days of the 90s, that they've got all these resources. So if you're out in Tennessee or South Carolina or wherever you're at, you got family, there is a way to find it for these resources. And also, Portia, now before also, if you guys want to call in for the last few minutes, we've got 256-434-1846, 256-434-1846 if you would like to call in and ask a question, or if there's something that we didn't cover, make sure you call in. But Portia, you also offer holistic services. And when I think of, I don't know, it just sounds better. It just sounds like you think of holistic services, you kind of think, because people may think, oh man, I don't want to be on no pills. I don't want to be on no medication. I don't want to be no guinea pig. I don't want to be doing like none of this crazy stuff. I want, something maybe more natural is for them, because maybe they do abuse substances and they don't want to, get on another substance or another pill or whatever it is, because one doctor may be like, all right, you be all right. Just take these 2 pills. Call me in the morning. You be all right. I'll be all right. But then later on down the road, my kidney shot. So what are some of the holistic services that people can do?
It's looking at the whole self. What we eat, what we put in our bodies in general, the types of food. Is there a vitamin deficiency? And I call it holistic because
probably is, because you know how we eat. You know how we eat.
The last time you had
that might be the first problem. When was the last time you had some greens?
Yeah.
When was the last time you had any green?
When the last time you drank some water?
Ooh. There you go.
Yeah. Are you drinking water? Are you eating healthy? How much sugar are you putting in your body? Is there inflammation build up? When was the last time you did some focusing? We did do some mindfulness. When was the last time you moved your body? Because all of that plays a part in how your brain functions. Your brain is a part of an entire system, and it has waste that it needs to remove, and movement and diet and nutrition. Those are all a part of that as well.
Exercise,
yes,
all that.
Exactly. I'm telling you, some of the things I do with the children, all right, let's give up caffeine for a little while. Let's reduce our sugar. And let's move. Come by my office at least once every other however many days. Yeah. Let's get out of this space, out of the AC, and let's move our bodies. You would not believe the world of difference. It's easier with the kids because I can kind of tell them what to do.
Absolutely.
But the adults, I got to rely on them to do it when they go home.
Right.
I have seen.
They're asking you to do their own taxes or something. I don't know how to do this. You got me doing. Oh God, come on.
But if you're not taking care of your entire self, how do you expect to be able to focus? How do you expect for your brain to fire on all cylinders? How can you think clearly if you've got all of these toxins and this filth built up in your body? And meditating, y'all, I'm just saying, everybody read some studies on meditation, on mindfulness. It's not this woo-woo thing.
And we ain't talking about Tina Turner, Nam Yo Ho Renge Kyo. Y'all better leave that alone. We ain't talking about that. We talking about some real meditation.
If you can control your breath, you can control almost anything going on in your body. If you can place your focus where you want it to be, the opportunities are just unimaginable. I challenge everybody listening to this. Even just go to YouTube, pull up you a mindfulness exercise. It will change your life.
Or try to think about, one of the things that they told us or that we were learning was to try to think of one thing for 1 minute. Not think of anything else. To see if you could focus on one thing for 60 seconds. And so you start thinking about, okay, my kid's going to school. What was I doing yesterday? What am I going to eat tonight? What are the kids doing? Why am I here? And then you start going off all these different things. Yes. And before you know it, you've had all these different thoughts. You can't focus on one thought. There's something wrong with that.
Exactly. You have to practice it. It's an exercise. They call it exercise for a reason because you put the effort in, you notice how far you've gotten. The next time you try to get a little bit further and a little bit further. You'll sleep better. You'll feel better during the day. You'll perform better in mental tasks. You'll be a more pleasant person in general.
Absolutely. And, for those that again are, and again, if you guys have any questions, make sure you drop them in the chat room. Make sure that you contact these ladies or someone if you have any questions on mental health, counseling, coaching, and again, let's just say you won the lottery and your life is just peachy cream and everything's going great. You still need someone in your corner to help you along. So no matter what questions you have, and especially if you're, again, just to be honest, be real with yourself, if you're having thoughts about hurting yourself or hurting someone else, make sure you talk to someone. And just like they said before, you have 211 that you can call to give you information and resources on where to find these things. And then for those of y'all that know someone that needs some help, maybe intervene and just help them out. Put everything you got to the side for a little bit. And then help that person out. If you guys have any questions, drop them in the chat room. Or if you're listening to this after the episode and you still have questions, I will get it passed along to them. Or you can dial in at 256-434-1846. One of the ways I like to explain, because again, we were talking about instead of saying therapy and counseling, we turned it into coaching. Because again, we all like, sports, or you think about it that way, everybody needs a coach. The way I kind of think about it, which kind of makes it cool when I think about it, like the way to get me in the door is I started thinking about counseling and therapy as like a brain massage or like, a spirit massage, something to kind of, again, like you work out because you're trying to work your body out. You're trying to get in shape, whatever. You're trying to get your internal health and your external body, whatever, the right way. You get a massage to, again, relax yourself, or you take a shower, or you take a detox, whatever. But then there's nothing we do nothing for the brain or for the soul, so to speak, to, again, detox that. And I think therapy or counseling or whatever, I think that's what it does. I think it, again, kind of puts your mind in that place where you can relax and be yourself, Anything coming up that you guys want to share with the people? Any events or any shout outs? It kind of sounds weird saying a shout out after this, but like, I'm just so used to saying, again, those routines that we get in. I'm telling y'all, if I didn't have a routine, I wouldn't have got here today. I want to tie my shoe. So anything that you guys want to leave with the people or anything?
Again, we've been talking about stigma and everything, and we have to get past what people think about us. Mm-hmm. We have to take care of self so that we can in turn help someone else.
Absolutely.
We cannot be of any assistance or any good really to anyone else if we have not taken care of ourselves. We like to think that we can do it. We can. And we may give it a really good shot.
Yeah. But
sometimes we just need that extra help. We have to be our best person so that we can help other people be the best them that they can be as well.
Absolutely. Be your best self. Portia, anything?
When looking for a coach or a counselor, a therapist, or whatever you want to call it, don't be afraid to wait until you find the one that fits for you.
Exactly.
A lot of times you'll sign up for somebody, you'll go see them, and they just rub you the wrong way.
Right.
Find somebody who has a therapeutic style that fits is a right fit for what you're working towards, and somebody that's going to push you out of your comfort zone, but that isn't going to make you so uncomfortable that you don't go back.
Exactly.
So I think it's really important not to be afraid to try around a little bit. We're not afraid to go to different churches till we find the right church home.
Or dog shopping.
Right. Shopping and everything. We be so critical on what we're where we shop, how we shop, all that. Be the same thing with your mental health.
Exactly. Because it's just as important.
Absolutely. Don't just get somebody that's going to agree with you either. Like everything, you like, oh, that's the best therapist I ever had in my life. They agree with everything. I said, no. Need to be somebody that's a little objective that can look out. There was a guy, one of my friends I used to work with. He's and again, just to keep it all the way funky with y'all. So some people think, again, when it comes from another race, that it's gospel. So if you think, okay, well, if this white person told me this, all right, then it must be the truth. But black person could have told me the exact same thing, and now I got to question it. Well, where did they come from? How did they get it? What did they do? And you got all these different questions. But the way, again, hearing him say it this way, and, he was, I don't know what you call it, like English, British, or whatever. He's got the accent, and, like T-Mill, when you go to, therapy is it's like a spa. It's a luxury. We have a luxury. You owe it to yourself to do. And, the way he talked about it was like, him and his wife, that's something that they look forward to. It's like, all right, this weekend, instead of us going out to them, it's a luxury. It's something they look forward to. They want to go do it. Every month, they look, all right, we're going to do this, we're going to do it. When are we going to therapy? All right, when are we going? To them, it kind of felt like an adventure or just something that they just couldn't, I don't know. But they got that much pleasure out of it, or they were learning that much about themselves to where they look forward to it. And not to say that it was all good, because him and his wife were going through some things, and luckily they got over that. But it again was something that they look forward to, and I think that that's what we all should, kind of work toward, to where we don't look at it as something like we go and see our probation officer. Right. We look forward to, going to it. We get in a routine of going to church. We get into a routine of going to work. We get into a routine of cooking. Let's get into a routine of, taking care of our mental health. All right?
Agreed.
So, ladies and gentlemen, this has been another episode of In Tune with T-Mill, and we have been talking about mental health, taking care of yourself, taking care of your brain, your body, your mind, your soul, your spirit. And today our guests were Carlquista and Portia. I would say last names, but you know how people is. I don't know how that works. So thank y'all for coming and talking about solutions. We could have talked about all the problems. We could have talked about what's wrong with it, but we talked about solutions, and I hope someone listening was able to take something from this and help themselves or someone else. So, again, you guys make sure you log on to In Tune with T-Mill. If you have any questions, please drop them in the chat room, and we will see you guys on the next episode of In Tune with T-Mill. We out.